Previously in Amazing Spider-Man, Kingpin is running a campaign to make it look like he and Spider-Man are allies, to create a wedge between the web-slinger and the rest of New York's heroes. On top of that, Spider-Man and Peter Parker were recently separated temporarily, with Spider-Man running around New York causing wanton destruction since he was lacking Peter's sense of responsibility. Peter and Mary Jane have decided to give their relationship another go. All the while, a villain named Kindred has been making his presence felt among some of Spider-Man's oldest foes. A woman by the name of Odessa Drake is sitting in a booth at a nightclub when she is approached by a man with a business opportunity. Dave McCauley believes his firm can turn Odessa from one of the 5 richest people on the East Coast to having Stark or Von Doom levels of money. She cuts off his pitch with a question about his firm's shady dealings in Eastern African villages. He responds by saying progress has a price. Odessa starts to list other examples of his unethical business practices and reveals this isn't a nightclub, but a trap. The Thieves Guild are putting him on trial, not for how he conducts his business, but because he hasn't paid them their dues. McCauley laughed at the idea of giving 10% of his earnings to the guild when he saw an old boss of his do it. As the guild closes in on him, he pleads for mercy, screaming that he thought they were just a myth. Odessa admits he has a valid point. They've been in the shadows too long, but that's all about to change. Odessa addresses the Thieves Guild. The old ways have collapsed, and in their place stands fools and madmen without order, without honor. But what's worse are the self-appointed vigilantes who stand against this new breed of criminal, making the guild's sacred work more violent than it needs to be. The guild are ordered to strike at the heroes first. They will reclaim their rightful place in the world by taking everything they can from this world's protectors. Avengers Mansion is cleared out. Captain America throws his shield only to have it stolen before it can return to him. One of Thor's hammers is stolen during a battle with the Wrecking Crew. Side note here, this story is set during a period where Thor had many hammers that didn't have Mjolnir's enchantment. Everyone from Ghost Rider to Punisher has had something stolen from them. Despite being ostracized by the rest of New York's heroes, Tony Stark calls Spider-Man to attend an all-hands-on-deck meeting to figure out what exactly is happening. After Peter says goodbye to MJ, someone says, "Don't you hate how he's always doing that?" Spider-Man is on his way to the gathering of heroes when he discovers he's been hit too, and his web shooters have been taken. He starts to plummet towards the ground, and since he was expecting to shoot a web line, he isn't close enough to a building to slow his fall. Black Cat makes the save out of nowhere. Spidey can't believe it. He asks how she knew where he was, but she doesn't give an explanation. Instead, she slashes him across the face and says they have unfinished business. Spider-Man asks Felicia if she's returned to a life of crime, because as far as he knew, they had settled their differences. She responds that they had and asks if he knows what changed that. Spidey has no clue, and when he's told about how he showed up at her place out of the blue acting like a creep, Spider-Man understands what happened. Peter tries to explain how he and Spider-Man were separated by an isotope genome accelerator, but Black Cat isn't buying it. Felicia came looking for him because she knows what's going on with all the heroes' belongings and needs his help. Black Cat needs to show him something, so Spidey grabs on and away they go. It was Carly Cooper, an ex of Peter's, who saw him leaving Mary Jane. She's back in New York, and when she saw MJ, she wanted to tell her about something that helped her deal with Peter's life as Spider-Man. A support group, the Lookups, made up of friends and loved ones of heroes with secret identities. MJ is shocked to think that Carly told Peter's secret, but she reassures her that it's completely anonymous, leaves MJ the flyer, and asks her to think about attending tonight's meeting. Cat brings Spider-Man to an old well. She explains who the Thieves Guild are. They have chapters all over the world, each with their own history and rules. No one knows for sure when New York's chapter formed, but some legends go back as far as the Dutch merchants' purchase of the island of Manhattan. Back in the 20s, bank robbers and bank owners would line up at the fountain and throw in 10% of their takes, but that all changed with the rise of supervillains, and people eventually forgot about the old ways. The New York Guild is now being led by Odessa Drake, and she wants to bring them into the modern age. She's had them collecting debts and taking out enemies. This stunt was to get the world's attention and have everyone take note. Felicia then reveals she's a good standing member of the New York chapter and can take Spider-Man to the safe house where all the heroes' belongings are. Mary Jane decides to attend the Lookups meeting. When she arrives, she's greeted by security drones and the meeting's organizer, Edwin Jarvis. Edwin has been the Avengers' custodian for many years, and having experienced firsthand the harm that can come from being so close to people like the Avengers, it made him realize that he wasn't the only one. That's when he got the idea for this support group. The drones that greeted Mary Jane project face-obscuring technology to ensure total anonymity, and Dr. Strange donated a potion that clouds certain kinds of memory, so attendees leave with only vague remembrance of what was shared in the meetings. Despite all the failsafes, MJ is still hesitant to share, but she does stay for the meeting. Meanwhile, Spider-Man and Black Cat successfully infiltrate the Guild's safe house. They find what they're looking for, but begin to argue when Felicia tells Spidey that he can have half of the haul, the rest is hers. Because of their bickering, they don't notice that the Guild has caught them in the act. There's a tension in the air as Odessa and Felicia exchange words. Spider-Man tries to relieve said tension with his trademark incessant banter, but it doesn't land. Drake tells Felicia she could have been a part of this, but Cat believes the Guild went too far with this stunt. They stole items that are needed to protect people, to save lives, and that isn't who Felicia or the Guild are. Odessa orders Black Cat be captured and Spider-Man be killed. While Spider-Man and Black Cat are taking on the Thieves Guild, MJ opens up at Lookups. Since she lost her job with Stark Industries, she's felt like she and Peter are operating in different lanes, and if it would be better for him to have a partner with powers too. After the meeting, Jarvis asks Mary Jane if she's ever considered that the reason her partner can be so upbeat in the face of adversity is because of her. A woman of impeccable character and strength, she is not dispensable. Despite being confined in such close quarters, Spider-Man and Black Cat are doing well against the Guild. Odessa notices this and summons mages to begin transporting the treasure to the Guild's vault. Cat says this is bad. Nothing that goes into the vault ever comes out. Spider-Man questions the logic of this system. Don't they want to make money off what's in there? He's told that that's not why they steal, and right now they need to make sure it doesn't open. Spidey is struggling to find anything that doesn't have the tracking device disabled, and manages to find something amidst all the chaos. Mr. Fantastic is addressing the assembled heroes. He, Tony Stark, Jean Grey, and Doctor Strange are working together to find everyone's possessions. He's interrupted by Miss Marvel, whose bag was stolen. It wasn't a super bag or anything, but it had her phone. She had Find My Phone turned on, and it just pinged. Spider-Man warns the Guild that they might want to end their D&D campaign, because a city's worth of superheroes are on their way. Odessa thinks he's bluffing, but one of her mages confirms it. Mortified, she orders the Guild to vanish. Spidey thinks Black Cat overhyped the Thieves Guild, but she knows this got them what they wanted. The rest of the heroes show up and claim their belongings. Spider-Man and Black Cat agree their team up was fun, but both mention that they're seeing someone. Spidey is just happy that Felicia's back on the side of the kleptomaniac angels, because he's not sure if he can handle evil mob boss Felicia again. She was in a bad place and thought it started when Doc Ock was in control of Spider-Man's body, but it started earlier than that. There's been something clawing at the back of her head and she's finally figured it out. She doesn't remember who Spider-Man is. Spider-Man explains that he figured out a way to get everyone to forget who he was after he revealed his identity during the first superhero civil war. Cat's offended. She isn't everybody. She and Spider-Man shared something, real feelings, and now she feels like a part of her life is missing, and she deserves better than that. Peter removes his mask and introduces himself to Felicia, and the two hug. Pete heads to Mary Jane's apartment and gives her a rundown of everything that happened, including him telling Felicia who he really is. MJ is cool with it because she knows she's indispensable. Felicia was right. This stunt did get Odessa what she wanted. The Thieves Guild are getting their dues again. Kindred watches Peter reveal his identity to Felicia and isn't happy. She doesn't deserve what's coming. He keeps dragging more people into his own hell, but soon it'll just be Kindred and Peter. Heist is one of my favorite story arcs from this run. The main reason being it showed how the events of One More Day affected Black Cat, someone Spider-Man has had a long meaningful relationship and friendship with. When Spider-Man reveals his identity to someone who knew it before, all their memories come back. This was shown when he revealed his identity to the Fantastic Four back in Dan Slott's run. I do think having the Thieves Guild get one over on so many heroes was a catch-22. It made them a big deal right away, but also made some heroes look like chumps. I mean, come on, the power required to get one over on Doctor Strange, let alone Jean Grey, puts the Thieves Guild on a serious power level, but undermines everyone's power when they find them with Find My Phone. Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in next week when I'll be looking at issues 11 through 13, Lifetime Achievement.